Good morning, friends. The lesson that is displayed on your screen, Youth and the Task Ahead, is written by Dr. Karan Singh. We have discussed Dr. Karan Singh in the previous lecture. We came to know that he is a successful politician and a prolific academician. In the previous lecture, we came to understand his biography, etc. But today we are going to discuss Youth and the Task Ahead, written by Dr. Karan Singh, and we will try to ascertain what is his point with regard to the particular lesson. Dear friends, you know Dr. Karan Singh says that India had got freedom after centuries of slavery, and that is very true. With the advent of East India Company in 16th century, from there onwards until 1947, India is subjugated by the Britishers. And because of great struggle and sacrifice, we attained freedom. This freedom should not be taken for granted by the post-independent generation, particularly the youth of India. That is what he suggested. Youth is basically the focal point. In his essay, youth has to play a pivotal role. If you see the entire speech of Dr. Karan Singh with regard to this particular lesson, and he suggested that this freedom should not be taken for granted by the post-independent generation, particularly the youth of India. The maintenance of this freedom is now a very important task. The youth can play an important role in maintaining it, and that is true. Normally, people sometimes take it for granted. Okay, we have taken freedom, now the job is over. But Dr. Karan Singh, specifically to the youth, addresses them and tells them that they should not take it for granted. They have a very important role to play. And then he further suggests our youth must have an immense burst of idealism and energy to safeguard our country, which is founded on the ideals of secularism and democracy. As you are quite aware that India, our country, is based on secularism and democracy. And youth has to play a very important role. They contain an immense burst of idealism and energy, and they must utilize it towards the nation. Our youth who are studying in schools, colleges, and universities are full of vigor and vitality, and that you can understand. He is addressing to those youth who are in schools, colleges, and universities, and he understands that they possess vigor and vitality, and they must utilize it properly. If this energy is properly utilized, it can be useful for our country. These are the people who will be required to provide leadership in all walks of life. And in future, the entire command is to be given to the youth, who will later turn out to be the leaders in number of fields. That is what he suggests. And the writer demands that this generation must be physically strong to protect the country from aggressors. Now, the first dimension he is trying to address is the physical dimension. He says our youth must be physically very strong so that they should be able to defend their country against aggressors. In order to defend our country, we need physical fit youth who must be disciplined and have a spirit of cooperation. Now, what he wants to convey is very simple, that youth must be physically fit, but at the same time, they should not indulge themselves in some sort of violation. They should be very disciplined. There must be a spirit of cooperation among the youth. For this, there are number of programs with regard to National Cadet Corps. You have physical fitness centers, you have yoga centers, you have gym centers, and other similar organizations are doing the job. Therefore, our youth must fully avail these opportunities in order to make themselves physically very strong. In the essay, he further addresses that we are living in an age of science and technology, so our youth must be intellectually alert. This is the age of science and technology, and our youth must be intellectually sound with regard to science and technology. Our youth studying in schools, colleges, universities must attain academic ability to highest order. Only the elite class gets this opportunity to study in the colleges and universities. Now, in this particular essay, you can understand he says that is basically the elite class that studies in colleges and universities. Rest, the people, the youth, educated youth especially, who are poor, cannot even dream of getting higher education. Therefore, the people who are considered to be elite, as per Dr. Karan Singh is concerned, must try to repay their debts by not wasting a single moment of their academic life in futile pursuits. That means the people who are considered to be elite, they must have a role that they should educate all those who are considered to be poor and who want to learn things. The responsibility of educating them lies upon their shoulders. Students should not take part in party politics. They should not indulge themselves in party politics. Our youth must be intellectually superior, alert, and efficient to be able to cope up with the rapid changes taking place in the modern age. This is his second dimension which he is discussing. First is physical dimension, another is our youth must be intellectually very sound. And the third thing which he wants to address in this particular lesson is that our youth must be patriotic and they must rise above narrow nationalism. Now, what he understands is because of narrow nationalism, our entire country is divided into sects with regard to religion, with regard to region, with regard to linguistics, with other things as well. Now he calls it this considered to be narrow nationalism. They should concentrate on national unity and economic growth. This will help our nation in getting rid of corruption, nepotism, casteism. Then they will be able to serve the nation in a better way. Now, the idea is that they should think beyond narrow nationalism so that they will try to make a national unity among the people, and therefore they will be able to pursue national economic growth. The writer further quotes from the speech of Sir Aurobindo Ghosh to the students of Bengal National College, where he tells the youth to think what they can do for the country and not what country can do for them. He states, if you see Sir Aurobindo Ghosh's speech, there are certain lines that are there in the essay. That is, he states, such a time has now arrived for our motherland when nothing is dearer than her service, when everything else is to be directed to that end. If you will study, study for her sake. Train yourself, body, mind, and soul for her service. That means